I know that I'm 1 week late on this review, but this is my thoughts on episode 3 of Marvel's What If. I did a video on Saturday discussing what was going on with me last week, and now I'm trying to catch up with stuff that I missed for last week. And the one thing I was able to finally get around to watching this morning was Marvel What If episode 3. Very interesting scenario this time, and that is, what if the Avengers never assembled? Basically, the storyline here is that something weird is going on because the Avengers, the original members, are dropping like flies. Iron Man, Thor, Hawkeye, later on Hulk, Black Widow. These events take place during phase 1 of the MCU, and they're all dropping like flies, and it seems to be very mysterious about what is going on, but it seems to be that when these, well, not seems to be, it is, that when they are dropping like flies, other Avengers members are getting framed for it. And it ends up going into this long story. It wasn't that long. Actually, this episode would have benefited from being a two-part episode, but some say it was rushed. I would say that they were able to cram everything in pretty well. Sam Jackson kind of carries this episode as Nick Fury. He's trying to figure out just what the heck is going on with Natasha Romanoff, who is played by Scarlett Johansson, and trying to see what the heck, why these Avengers keep dying, and others get blamed for it. Well, it turns out that Hank Pym is the one responsible because he is mad that, or at least he's blaming S.H.I.E.L.D. for the death of Hope. They have this pretty awesome confrontation at the end of the episode with Hank Pym and Nick Fury discussing this whole thing and why he's so upset. And it turns out that, while this is going on, or before it, Loki came to Earth because Thor, Odin's son, was killed by Hawkeye, or so we believe. Loki comes to Earth and he pretty much tells them, you got to find who the killer is, but you have 24 hours basically until the next sunset before we take you out. We take over. And so they do manage to find Hank Pym as the killer, but Loki does take over. And the big teaser at the end is that Captain Marvel shows up and Captain America is about to be awakened to form a new Avengers to take on the Loki army. Really, really fun episode. I still think I may have enjoyed episode 2 a bit more, but this one gave me a lot of nostalgia because it brought me back to phase 1. I haven't watched phase 1 since the build up to Endgame 2 years ago when I was watching all of the original movies again. And it's been a while, and I actually miss, that era. When we didn't really know what was going on. Thor had the long hair, and they make comments here about how Thor had nice hair. Phil Coulson was actually an integral part of the story. We don't really see him anymore, but he was there. We saw kind of, Tony Stark when he was first kind of still cocky and still this brash and arrogant guy. It really brought back warm memories of those early days of the Avengers. Interestingly enough, they have one shot of Bruce Banner that looks like Edward Norton, right? But when they actually show Bruce Banner in this, it's of course, Mark Ruffalo who plays him, and it's Mark Ruffalo's kind of look and whatnot. And that was interesting. I thought Mark Ruffalo did a pretty good job doing the voiceover. I've talked about it before, but the voice work in this show is great. And they actually got the real actors to do it, which adds a level of authenticity to Marvel What If. Overall, yeah, this could have probably benefited from having a part 2, but it was fine the way it was. I was really curious about what was going to happen next with Captain Marvel showing up and, kind of what we were able to find out later on. They didn't even introduce Hank Pym or Captain Marvel in phase 1. We didn't see them till later. And it was cool how they were able to incorporate these storylines together. Although I wonder what's up with the Chitauri in that universe and what was going to happen with that. If Captain Marvel and Captain America are going to be on Earth with some new Avengers most likely that aren't in the original MCU timeline, I genuinely wonder if they're going to, if they're going to do a thing where we see that new team in action at some point, maybe with characters that haven't been introduced yet in phase 1, and we see the invasion of New York, but instead it's Captain Marvel there. How would that have happened? I don't think they're going to go down that road, but it does lead to some interesting possibilities. Marvel What If is a fun show, although it's not one that I'm dying to see every week like Loki because it's more episodic than anything else. it is without question a fun show to watch. And this episode was great. Episode 2 is my favorite. This one's right up there. Episode 1 I didn't like that much, but episodes 2 and 3 were great. Anyways, did you like Marvel What If episode 3? Let me know, and we'll talk very soon. I'll be doing my review for episode 4 this week, so look forward to that. See you then.